You're listening to SM Media.
Welcome, folks, to our latest episode of the SM Media Scottish Women's Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It is always a pleasure to be your host, and we have a busy weekend to talk about. Get some European action to talk about. I've never said we've got European group stage action, so I'm quite buzzing with that fact. And we will get into that. Blends into the weekend as well. Some fascinating action. It's always a pleasure to be joined by my wonderful co-host, Suzanne Mulvey.
It's a pleasure as always, Scott.
Where are we at here? Because, when was the last time you can remember the big three not winning? It's not happened very often, to my knowledge.
Yeah, obviously we had the draw, but with Celtic getting beat off Hearts. I mean, last season, Hearts beat Rangers right near the end of the season. That was probably, one of the last times. But it is very, very rare that all three of them, obviously, playing, two of them playing each other, but it's very rare that at least one of them don't pick up the maximum points over the course of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And obviously we've got some fascinating action. We'll start with the game on Saturday, obviously 12th of October, live in Sky Sports. So I think it got a very good viewing figure from what I heard. Rangers won, Glasgow City won. City obviously took the lead early on from Emily Whelan. 1-1 finished real hard, the equalising. Both sides of chances. Like, Rangers were probably the better side. I think they had a lot more of the ball, probably had the better chances. But I think overall, kind of looking at it, I can't really say it wasn't anything other than a fair result. And that's immediately what you text me after the game. Probably, I think we're both in that camp.
Yeah, no, I definitely a fair result. I thought, although Rangers did have quite a few half-decent chances in the first half, I thought that I was really impressed with Glasgow City. I thought they were excellent. I've been impressed with them this season in terms of the way they keep the ball and the way they move the ball. And they've got a few really decent signings that are kind of, they gelled in quickly, they're playing well. So I was really impressed with them in the first half. And saying that, Katie Wilkinson had a couple of decent chances herself in the first half. And I think that we have obviously spoke about it a lot in terms of our goal scoring prowess, but I think that Glasgow City did really well in terms of limiting the chances that Rangers had and also limiting the ball up to her. She's not only is she a goal scorer, she's really good at holding the ball up, bringing other players into play. So I think limiting the ball getting to her and then possibly causing her to get slightly frustrated, and then that's maybe why she's missed the chances. It all ties in. So I think they did excellent in the first half, and they fairly deserved their 1-0 lead. And then in the second half, you knew that Rangers were going to come out stronger, and they did deserve the equaliser. The amount of pressure they put on Glasgow City, and obviously Rio Hardy coming off the bench, a point to prove, getting the goal. And also as well, I thought Brogan Hay came off the bench, and I thought she was excellent. I think she's got everything that you've seen. She's got in her locker. She's just not consistent enough. But I think that watching her this season, she is getting better and better.
Yeah.
And I thought she was brilliant when she came off the bench. So it really surprised me if she wasn't in the team for the next game.
Right, I'm going to say something here that you might think is controversial, and I think I've seen a lot of people jump on it. The Glasgow City goal is a bit of a calamity from a Rangers perspective. Like, it's so avoidable.
Yeah, I think Oliveira's done absolutely fantastic. They were run just driving. I mean, I'm not a defender, but that's speaking to any defender, their worst nightmare is they're back to goal and a player driving at them. So it's so hard to defend against. And she's done really well. Beat a couple of players. Dummy to go one way, just moving her body just to kind of tempt the defenders, getting by the last defender, and then Cathy Hill's done really well coming across and making that tackle. And it's just really unfortunate that the balls fell to Whelan's foot, and then obviously she's kind of finished it. But Oliveira done excellent, but it is, I think a lot of people have been talking about it, that back three, and the fact that they have kind of been exposed a bit more. And although they've not conceded a lot of goals, I think that is kind of what you'd say, papering up the cracks, if you like, that they're not really getting tested. So whenever they have had problems with the back three, it's they've not really been penalised for it. Spartans, the goal was kind of a telltale sign. And I think that's possibly what. But in the second half, in saying that, they were much stronger. They've got great players in the defence, but I do feel that they are just a bit exposed sometimes with that back three. And especially on the break, Rangers are, most of the games, they're going to have a lot of the possession. So getting caught, on the break, way a back three. You've got Nick Dock, who's such an attacking player as well. If she's in that back...
She got a sore one quite early as well, when you could see her kind of struggling kind of later on in the game, I thought.
Yeah, and I'm quite surprised that, obviously Laura Rafferty, I know she did have an injury, but I'm surprised that, unless she is struggling, I'm really surprised that she's not in that team for her experience. But I am taking that down to the fact that she maybe isn't 100%, and then maybe going to ease her back in. But yeah, 1-1, definitely a fair result. I think managers both said the same, that they felt that they maybe could have, won it, or that they're a bit disappointed that they didn't win it, but I just feel that's a fair result.
And one really thing I was excited by was, and at half time I thought it was no coincidence, Kirsty McLean was ready to go. How good is it to see her back?
Oh, fantastic. Not only for Rangers, but obviously Scotland as well. Just a fantastic young talent. It's incredible the amount of talent that's came through over the past couple of years, especially at Rangers. They've just got a way of getting great players in their academy, developing them, and then obviously trying to get them as much game time in the first team, which is fantastic to see so many young players getting the opportunity that some of the girls have got, and then watching them go on, to bigger and better things, or progress and staying in the Rangers team and actually becoming regulars.
Obviously, that means as well that there was an opportunity for Celtic. I don't want to be too disrespectful here to Hearts and Hibs, because we will touch on them in the next couple of minutes, but Celtic obviously had an opportunity with Rangers and City dropping 2 points. Celtic, I thought, looked a bit fatigued. I think that's no coincidence. There was a bit of chopping and changing, but despite them having a lot of the ball, Hearts really deserving of their win, I thought, and I don't think it was a coincidence. Like you, I didn't watch the 20 game. What did you kind of think of that performance? And is it a coincidence that they struggled on Sunday?
The game in Europe, I felt that right at the very beginning, it was kind of neck and neck. They created a couple of opportunities, and didn't look under a hell of a lot of pressure. But after about, maybe I'd say about 15 minutes in, they were just overpowered. And to me, I feel that it's just the experience. When you go and play in Europe, it's a completely different kettle of fish. It's harder opposition than what you are going to face in the league week in, week out. And I felt that they were just overpowered and they weren't experienced enough. And it'll come, it's obviously the first Scottish team that's ever made the group stages, which is fantastic. So, it's amazing that they have got to that stage. But yeah, I just felt that they didn't have the experience that 20 did have. And, they were completely overpowered. And I felt that 2-0 probably was a fair result on the night. And then going into Sunday, to me, there has been quite a lot of chopping and changing, and the likes of Noonan, we've praised her that she's a fantastic player, but she's maybe not started as many games as we thought. But when she's came on, she's done well and scored goals, and we've seen it in Europe, her coming on and being the hero and things like that. And I feel, again, talking about Kate Wilkinson in terms of the frustration and maybe not getting as much of the ball, and that leads in front of the goal, you're maybe a bit frustrated. You're not 100%. You're missing chances, and I feel the same with Noonan. Maybe if she's played more games regularly and she's a regular starter, then she is kind of at her best, and maybe some of the chances that she would tuck away. She had a great, 1-2 with Natalie Ross that was through, and it's just hit it just wide of the post, a great move. But they were unfortunate. They did have a couple of good chances. Agnew as well, closing down Rachel Johnson, and what a block she's made as well, kind of saving herself with the error she made. But Hearts, we've said time and time again, they're such a great team. And we know that coming up against the top sides, they are going to cause them problems. They're good defensively. They've got good attacking options. And again, what we've said, Lisa Robertson, I feel, does make that difference. That experience, that grit, that fight in the centre of the park, she's definitely made a difference this season. They do look a lot stronger. Yeah,
and everybody was talking about how just the kind of recruitment Hearts did in the summer. Bailey Hutchison, what a performance from her on Sunday. I genuinely thought, and she's up for Player of the Week. I thought she was outstanding, and I thought like Emma Brownlee, I thought was excellent. Lisa Robertson, as you say, such an experienced figure in that midfield. But look at who they bring on as well. Like Jessica comes on, you've got is it Adam Alukin, I think you pronounce her. Like really good depth in there, and I don't want to say it's all about the big three because Hearts are making a big statement so far this season, and if you beat Celtic, I mean, they'll fancy themselves against anybody, and fair enough to them. They've got the squad to really put a lot of sides under pressure.
Yeah, obviously saying that Celtic had the chances, they maybe could have took something from the game. They've had enough chances to win the game in terms of what they actually created.
Mm-hmm.
But on the day, if you're defending well, if luck goes your way, if you score and the other team doesn't, Hearts are very worthy of the win. And I think that, if Hearts can carry on with the performances that they've been, shown, then, I think they could be up there. They've definitely got the potential. And saying that, maybe Celtic, were fatigued and didn't perform to their usual what we expect from them. But Hearts are a fantastic side, and like you said, the recruitment, Bailey Hutchison, top goal scorer last season. She was unfortunate; she had probably a hat-trick of chances at the weekend. She's very unfortunate she didn't get on the score sheet. But again, she hasn't been playing regular. She's not been a starter every week. Mm-hmm. She's not looking 100% match fit. I think when she does get more time, and she is a regular, I think that she will cause a lot of problems and start buying the goals as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, fair play to Hearts. But Hibs, obviously, it's worth taking note of them. They won 4-0 at Spartans at the weekend. A wee bit of an Edinburgh derby. Ailey Adams with a hat-trick, 2 from the spot. Michaela McAloney with the other one. Hibs, very good performance, obviously. 75% possession. Just really convincing performance. And Hibs, again, you look similar to Hearts. They've got the squad. A lot of their players are finding form. Ailey Adams with a hat-trick as well. And you look at the bench, bringing on Rachel Boyle, Kathleen McGovern, like Abby Ferguson coming on as well. Kira Grant's there. They've got a really good side. And is it a big 5 now?
I think so, and it's fantastic to see. If you take out the Hearts result, where was it 4-0 they got beat? Mm-hmm. If you take out that result, Hibs have had an absolutely fantastic start to the season. And it probably is just the scoreline. If they'd been beaten 1-0 of Hearts, you'd maybe think, oh, they're still one of the top sides. So you could just put that down to an off day. They had a few chances, they never took them. Hearts were so clinical on the day that everything, they were hitting went in. So apart from that result, Hibs have been absolutely fantastic as well. And obviously, like we are saying, the goal scorers, and Kathleen McGovern, she's always going to score goals. She's looking fitter and better with every game that she's played, and buying in the goals. And obviously, the likes of Rachel Boyle coming in as well. We know the experience, we know the quality that she's got, so it's absolutely fantastic to see her back and in amongst the squad and coming on after a kind of lengthy spell on the sidelines.
And we're already, we've obviously mentioned a big 5. It kind of looks like who's going to finish 6, who's going to complete that kind of top 6. And already Motherwell looking at another statement win. They won 4-1 at home at Dundee United. Laura Berry with a double, Louise Boyce scoring a own goal, and Robertson with a goal for Dundee United. Dundee United obviously struggling, but Motherwell have been quietly going under the radar. It's quite an impressive side so far. They've picked up a few big results, and it's all about kind of finishing that best of the rest. But I mean, they went to Rangers and they only lost 2-0. They won 6-0 away to Queen's Park. They've given City quite a tough game. They'll take a lot of positives for that result in their past few weeks' performances.
Yeah, we've spoken about Motherwell a bit and thought that they're the team, along with Hibs, over the past couple of seasons, that you don't know what team you're going to get. They've been so inconsistent. But we have said if they start being more consistent and show what they can do week in, week out, they are promising. They will get results, and they've been shown that. And then it's pretty similar with Hibs with that 4-0 defeat to Hearts. As in, Hibs had the big defeat against Partick Thistle, and that's kind of their only result where you thought, it kind of wasn't expected. But yeah, they've been, flying under the radar. They've been putting in really good performances, some convincing performances, and they are looking like a side who definitely could, finish in that top 6. I think more so than Partick, because Partick have been a bit more disappointing this season. They've not really kind of found their feet yet. So Motherwell, for me, definitely are looking like the other team that will do it.
Yeah, obviously, Partick Thistle obviously drew 1-1 at Montrose. That's a good point for Montrose as well. Now, looking obviously, kind of goals coming within kind of 8-minute period. Guthrie scoring for Montrose, and then Boyce equalising for Thistle. Very even game. again, that's probably a better result for Montrose, I would say.
100%. It's again we're talking about Partick Thistle over the past couple of seasons where they've been top six, where against the teams that below them or that that we'd say would finish below them, we do expect them to win, and they've had quite a few disappointing results this season. In terms of obviously Hibs, they've had the better over Hibs the past couple of seasons. They got beat off Hibs, they drew with Aberdeen, and now drawn with Montrose. It's absolutely massive, that point for Montrose. In terms of how Dundee United are looking at the moment, how Queen's Park are looking, so a fantastic point for them. But yeah, I'd imagine that everybody at Partick Thistle will be really disappointed with that result, and also as well the start that they have had to this season.
Yeah, absolutely. But probably result of the weekend probably does go to Aberdeen at the bottom end of the table. 2-0 win away to Queen's Park, goals from Stewart and Kraft. Takes Aberdeen out the bottom three. They're in 8 points, obviously a point behind Spartans, but a point ahead of Montrose, 2 points ahead of Queen's Park. It's about, we spoke about this a lot during the predictions at the early stage of the seasons, it's how those sides are going to perform against each other, and if you can get an away win, can work wonders for you.
Yeah, I think that is exactly what it is. You want to win every game, you want to play as well in every game, but everybody that is down that bottom area will just be, looking to get the points against the teams that are in about them, and that is massive 3 points for Aberdeen. Queen's Park have had a really tough start to the season. They've kind of, found out exactly what SWPL 1's like. They have really struggled, but it is still early days. There is still a hell of a lot of points to pick up. But yeah, Aberdeen have done absolutely fantastic with that result, and they are kind of looking like they won't struggle, in terms of looking at the three teams below them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move into SWPL 2. Hamilton remain 5 points clear. They won 3-0 at home at Ayr. Double from Josephine Giard and a goal from McDonald. The Hamilton train keeps on rolling, and you would probably expect them to beat Ayr. Ayr have obviously had a bit of a difficult start, but Hamilton, again, when you've got a player like Giard who's obviously so impressive, scoring a lot of goals, I'd like to think we know Bobby pretty well. He'll be delighted with how well they've started.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last season, a massive test for them, and they got relegated. But this is now kind of his team, and hard because they have got relegated, that he's trying to keep as many players together as possible, and he's done a fantastic job with his recruitment as well. And we've spoke about Josie Giard so much. She's just a fantastic player, and one when I played a few games at Celtic with her, I was so impressed with her, and I thought that she's one of the players that you need to play alongside her to see how good she actually is, and I was really impressed with her. I was so surprised when she left Celtic. So a fantastic player that bags in the goals, and they'll be absolutely delighted. At the moment, you just can't see any team overtaking them in the league. They might slip up, they might lose some points, they might even get beat, but you just can't see them getting taken off that top spot. They just look absolutely fantastic for that title.
They head to Livingston next week. Well, that's a big test if they can go there and win, and then after that they go to Kilmarnock. That's like, if they can pick up 6 points from that, there's a gap developing.
Yeah.
But so impressed with Hamilton's start. Kilmarnock 4, Rossvale 1, a double from Abby Robinson, goals from Carla Gray and Rhea McCulloch. Very good result again for Kilmarnock. Obviously, Rossvale, disappointing start. I don't think they'll be happy with how they are. But Kilmarnock again, they've been scoring a lot of goals. Really impressive last week against Ayr. And Kilmarnock look like they're going to put up a fight here.
Yeah, definitely. What a great side, and obviously I went to watch the first game of the season, and it was Rossvale against Kilmarnock, and I thought Rossvale looked absolutely fantastic, and Kilmarnock just looked so far off it. And then if you just look how things have turned around, if you had said to Rossvale, getting the 3 points first game of the season after 8 games, you'd only have 2 wins. There's no way they would have thought that. They definitely would have thought that after the performance that they put in. So it just shows you how things can turn around. And Jim Chapman did say, I spoke to him after the first game of the season, he said it was a couple of weeks off it, and I think he's absolutely spot on. He knows his stuff. He's a fantastic experienced manager, and he knew exactly what he was talking about. He knew that his team just weren't there, but give them a couple of weeks, and now you can see that they're absolutely firing on all cylinders, and they at the moment look like they will be Hamilton's biggest challengers this season.
Yeah, absolutely. But talk about a game of drama. Let's head to Boroughmuir. Boroughmuir 2, Livingston 3. Livingston looked good for 3 points. They were 2-1 up. We get into injury time. Rebecca Galbraith equalised in the 92nd minute for Boroughmuir, but Livingston got the winner through McFadden in the 95th minute. What a game. What a fascinating result this is. Boroughmuir will be absolutely devastated. And Livingston, I think they'll be probably delighted to come away with 3 points after the way that went.
Yeah, so sometimes when you're getting beaten, you're fighting for that equaliser, and you finally get it. It's it does, not that you drop a level, but you kind of relax a bit more. And they say that sometimes when you score a goal, that's when you're most likely concede. That's when you're at your weakest. And fair play to Livingston, losing a goal that late on. Thinking that you've dropped a couple of points to then go on and get that win, and absolutely fantastic for them. But in saying that, Boroughmuir have had an absolutely fantastic start to the season as well. They've looked fantastic. They've looked a really good side, and we obviously know that the players that they've got on their squad, the likes of Becky Galbraith, we know that they will keep challenging and be a really tough team.
Absolutely. Let's move into the final game in this division. St Johnstone 1, Gartcairn 2. Rob and Lawson with the goals for Gartcairn. So Johnson put one back through McLean, but another 3 points for Gartcairn. That puts them into the top half. They're in 13 points, obviously 3 ahead of Boroughmuir. And St Johnstone have had a really tough start, but Gartcairn, we thought they would be better than they were last season, and they've certainly shown it already.
Yeah, again, it might be a bit of hit or miss. You're not knowing what you're going to get with them, but when they perform, when they turn it on, they're absolutely a force, and they've been getting some really good results. So that's a fantastic result for them. And like you say, leapfrogging into that top half of the table, fantastic for them.
Absolutely. Let's run through the results in the Championship. East Fife 1, Inverness 2, Dryborough 3, Morton 0. Stirling Uni in a really good run. They won 2-1 at home to Renfrew. Falkirk 6, Hutchie 0, Forfar 3, Glasgow Girls 2, and Westdyke 0, Stenhousemuir 2. So let's look at how that table impacts. Falkirk and East Fife joint top on 17 points. Inverness third and 16. You've got Stirling Uni, Dryborough on 15. Renfrew, Stenhousemuir on 13. Forfar 12. Glasgow Girls 11. 6 points separate the top 9. That seems to me to be incredible. A fascinating league.
Absolutely incredible. Literally, one bad result or one good result could flip that whole thing around. Brilliant. That's what we want to see. We want to see really competitive leagues, really competitive games. And that league definitely is kind of looking like it will be really, really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a weekend of away victories in League One. Gifford 0, Airdrie Ladies 0, Inverurie 1, St Mirren 4, Kilwinning 3, Queen of the South 4, Donnybrook 0, Bonnyrigg 4, and Edinburgh Caledonia 1, Armadale 6. Let's look at the table there. St Mirren, 6 wins from 7 games. They're top on 18 points. Armadale, Bonnyrigg, Queen of the South all on 15. Inverurie on 10. And then you've got the likes of Airdrie and Edinburgh Cali on 7. Cowan and Donnybrook 6. And difficult starts for Giffnock and Dundee West there on 1 point. You look at the likes of the 10 sides that have come up. Obviously, Armadale sitting in second. St Mirren are flying at the top. Kilwinning have a decent start along with Donnybrook. Inverurie have done pretty well. Like, sides are coming up and they're doing all right. Like, it's not like they're struggling. There's sides that look fancy to go up again.
Yes, St Mirren have obviously done fantastic, and that gap, obviously, you can see the gap really starting to kind of open up there. But yes, St Mirren are looking like they're kind of 6 out of 7, fantastic for them. But yeah, it's always great to see new sides coming up and not shying away and getting stuck right in and obviously really challenging. That's what we want. If more teams come up and they're challenging the teams that are up there and they're doing really well and they're sitting at the top end of the table, it just shows you how much more competitive the women's game is overall, the leagues in Scotland.
Absolutely. But we'll move in quickly just to what's coming up next week. We've got a big game at 4:10 on Sunday. Probably game of the weekend. Hibs Rangers. There's a lot of fascinating action going on though, but I think a lot of people will be tuning into that. That could be a fascinating one.
Yeah, definitely. If Hibs turn up and what we've seen they can do this season, I think it'll be a really, really tough test for Rangers. They started off fantastic, but we had said that they hadn't really been tested yet. Now they're starting to get tested. They got tested against Glasgow City. They dropped a couple of points. This is another big test for them. And of course, very, very important for them to get back to winning ways, especially because Celtic did drop 3 points. It's an opportunity for them to keep the momentum going, and obviously them and Hamilton are the only kind of two teams that are unbeaten at the moment. They have dropped points, but still unbeaten.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, just kind of running through, Celtic obviously play on Thursday night away to Real Madrid. Caroline Weir obviously will play against some of her old teammates. Is it difficult? Obviously, it's Real Madrid. It's a spectacle, but how important is it that it's an occasion that they relish as opposed to what probably could be a difficult night in terms of result?
I think what's really important, and I kind of learnt this from working with Eddie Walecki Black quite a bit, is that you've got to kind of treat every game the same, in the sense that like we go to a cup final and everybody's like, right, go out and walk around the pitch, and if you don't always do that, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You've kind of got to stick to what you know, and of course it's important to relish it, but you can't let the occasion get the better of you. And I think that is potentially what could happen, in terms of there's a lot of young players there, and just that name, Real Madrid, would scare younger players. And I think that's the thing. You've got players like Natalie Ross, who you could put anybody in front of her and she will treat them the exact same, and that is with the utmost respect, but also as well, she will fire a tackle at anybody, no matter who it is. And I think that's what players like her and Kelly Clark, what they've got to do, and is just say that you've got to win your individual battles, and it'll be a very, very tough night, but they can't give them a minute. They've got to challenge for every ball, they've got to try and win every single tackle, and it'll be a very, very tough night for them. And it's hard saying it, because they did get beat of 20, it's hard saying, we just need them to keep the score down, and it's horrible saying that. But Real Madrid are the top end, the women's division in Spain. They're such a fantastic side, and they've got some great players in their squad. And like we spoke about, Caroline Weir, what a talent she is.
She'll have a massive point to prove, though. Obviously, coming off the bad injury, I'm not saying that a lot of people have forgotten just how good she is, but a lot of Scottish people will be keeping an eye on this game for the Celtic reason. But she'll be looking at that as an opportunity to say, right, I'm still here. I'm back. And
100%. I feel that she's one of the main reasons why Scotland hasn't been performing as well. Mm-hmm. I feel that they miss her. Kim Little retiring, I feel they've not been the same. And take it, Caroline Weir out of there. I just feel like her composure on the ball, she's such a great passer of the ball. She makes great runs forward, and the composure that she shows in that central area is just absolutely frightening. There's very rarely you see a player with the amount of composure that she's got. So definitely a point to prove, and I think she will relish the occasion. Playing for a team like Real Madrid against, obviously when she was in Scotland playing for Hibs, Celtic were a big massive rival. So to her it'll be like, still like a rival. She'll want to prove a point against Celtic.
Absolutely, but we'll obviously be back next week to talk about that, obviously to talk about the action over the weekend. Suzanne, a pleasure as always. Thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you. A lot to catch up on, and we've just had some fantastic results. It's been great.
We absolutely have, and we will see you all for the next episode of the Scottish Women's Football Show. For more women's football content, subscribe to our YouTube podcast, follow us on social media, and as always, subscribe to our Patreon channel. Thanks very much, folks. We'll see you all soon.